The Rebel Alliance was in many ways the precursor to the New Republic, and without it the Empire would have probably remained in power. But following the signing of the Galactic Concordance in 5 ABY, the New Republic found itself at a crossroads, and unfortunately, many of the ex-rebels were left on the outside looking in. Now, by the time the Concordance was signed, the New Republic was quite nicely coming together, and it had one mandate, and that was peace and prosperity. So, no more fighting, no more fleets of warships, no more terror squads. Violence had no place in this new galaxy under the New Republic. Now, the problem with this was that this government had come to power on the back of military force. The rebels had fought tooth and nail to win the Civil War, but now they were against what they were needed for. You see, the rebels at the end of the day were soldiers, and the New Republic knew that they didn't have a great reputation. The rebellion had been portrayed as war criminals for Imperial propaganda for years, and that sort of messaging sticks. And like it or not, the rebels had hurt people. Many saw them as not really much better than the Imperials. For this reason, the New Republic knew that it was time to cut them free. During the disarmament of the entire galaxy under the New Republic, the Rebel Alliance and its paramilitary forces were very quickly stripped away. Some in the ranks found themselves at home in the New Republic, including maybe military commanders, etc., who'd be given opportunities in the New Republic Defense Forces, and others will have been put into places of political powers such as Leia or Mon Mothma. However, the vast majority of rebels were simply let go, as they portrayed the New Republic in a negative light. So what exactly happened to these rebels post the war? Well, many of them weren't actually done with the war. There was still a lot of Imperials out there, a lot of war criminals, Moffs and commanders, who, as we discussed on the previous video, had escaped justice in the Outer Rim and the Unknown Regions, and with the New Republic playing happy families in the Core and Mid-Rim, the rebels will have likely set about hunting a lot of these Imperials down illegally. As I said, a lot of these Imperial warlords were never really brought to justice, they were kind of just forgotten about. It's important to remember that a lot of these rebels joined the cause for revenge. Maybe they'd suffered under the Empire, and the idea that they would just stop because the New Republic told them that the war was over is just not going to happen. A considerable amount of the soldiers likely became freelance mercenaries. As we discussed, the Outer Rim in particular was a ruthless place, and it wasn't really governed by a lot of laws as the New Republic hadn't quite stretched out that far yet. And there was plenty of opportunities to make a lot of credits for a trained soldier out there. It's very likely that a lot of rebels were still angry at the Concordance as well. At the end of the day, a lot of them must have felt very left behind by the New Republic, which really seemed to never recognise them officially. It was they who fought and died for all of these fancy senators to now sit and debate peace. And they weren't really ever given a thank you, they weren't really ever rewarded for what they did. As I said, most of them were just forgotten about. I find it likely that a lot of rebels probably became criminals or involved with such groups. Many didn't know much else but war, and the lure of riches and taking something back from an organisation that they perceived to be good and that had wrongfully used them would have probably made a lot of sense. You could imagine that there was actually quite a lot of rebels out there who weren't happy with what was happening. Maybe they didn't even like the New Republic as a general governing system. The Rebel Alliance was a coalition of countless different rebel cells, and a lot of them will have had different ideals. So, for the people whose ideals did not link with the Rebel Alliances, for example, people who were maybe more in line with separatist beliefs, the war was far from over, and they now had a new enemy to fight. Finally, we have the Resistance and other such freedom-fighting groups. These were unofficial paramilitary groups of the New Republic, and they didn't defy the Republic as per se. The legality of them is in a very, very grey area. They were dedicated to defending the Republic, even if the Republic did not want them to be defending it. A lot of ex-rebels knew very well that the Empire wasn't finished. There was remnants who had escaped, and still groups that were operating in the galaxy. And whilst the New Republic piled this off as just paranoia in old war veterans, they at the end of the day were right. It was them who stopped the First Order, and many of the people in Leia's resistance movement were ex-rebel soldiers and commanders. But what do you guys think the ex-rebels did following the war? And what do you think about how the Republic treated them? Were they right to cut ties, or should they have shown more loyalty? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching, I really do hope that you enjoyed this video. If so, please remember to like, share and sub, as it's really appreciated and it helps the channel grow. Also, don't forget to follow me on Twitter at TheLawGuy and tick the bell for regular updates. Most importantly, thank you so much for watching. I really do hope that you enjoyed and are having a great day, and I'll see you next time.